Alright, hello and welcome to another episode of Jim the Editor Plays. As you may have noticed already, this one's a little different. Even though we're still playing our randomized version of Pokemon Red and we're still playing by the Kingslocke rules, I'm recording the audio for this after the fact. Because the original audio, future Jim, can you just play some? We really only added Ginny here. So as you can see, we can't really do an episode like that. So I decided to record this after I've done a little bit of editing while I watch through it. Now, as you'll remember from last episode when we were in the Safari Zone, we got a new Pokemon, Ginny, who was a Cyndaquil. Yep, Cyndaquil. So what I decided to do early on was to give her the experience share and see what she was going to evolve into, seeing as she was already level 26 or so. So here we have me going back into the grass just to the west of Fuchsia City, using, of course, our lovely Squishy, and just trying to, see what happens when we level Ginny up. Squishy here making mincemeat of these fire trainers, thanks to her brand new move, Water Spout. That, of course, was a result of the Jack from last episode. Yeah, so this at least this first part is really heavily edited, so it's just going to go from battle to battle. Don't want to waste your time with anything like that. I'm not really going to be talking about any of the stuff that I think I remember I talked about while I was doing it, although there was a little bit. But yeah, it's just kind of course my phone goes off, just to kind of keep things going. And there we go, another trainer down. Yeah, this was, I couldn't really decide whether it used Sky Uppercut or Sacred Fire on this Cacturne. I was a little bit worried about what kind of move it would use. So yeah. End up going for Sacred Fire. Didn't quite kill it, but Earthquake was easy enough. Did get quite worried when I saw that Thief, because I forgot about the colour change. But of course, nothing that Squishy can't handle. I mean, the reason I'm kind of worried about these moves now is, of course, because as you can see on the right-hand side, the number 9 rule is in play. The Snake Eyes rule, which means that if anyone faints, then they are unusable until I beat the next gym. They are petrified. So yeah, we could be in a bit of trouble. Not against these trainers, clearly. And already after those 3 trainers, we have Ginny leveling up. What's she going to evolve into? Something useful, I hope. It's weird saying that, knowing that I know the answer. And her first evolution is into a Tyrogue. Now, I say first because, of course, she's going to evolve again, because she's a Tyrogue, next level. Into what? We have no idea. But when you check out her stats, the Tyrogue evolution is a bit of a crappy one. Those stats are not good. 20s across the board. I mean, it's barely keeping up with her own level. So, of course, what do? I go east, do some steps, and use the Versus Seeker again. The addition of the Versus Seeker makes grinding so much easier in these kind of middle games, because you get it so early in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And, of course, the Paris can't really stand up to a squishy-powered Sacred Fire. So nothing to worry about there. Same with Rosalia. It's just a pity about... One of the issues that I had this episode is specifically to do with Squishy's PP. Squishy has so little PP on most of her moves that it actually is a little frustrating. Of course, now heading up to Route 14, which we've already drawn a card for, just to clean up the trainers. If you remember back 5 episodes, we got quite far through Route 14, or we got a little way into Route 14 before we decided to go back and go around the other way down to Fuchsia City. So I'm kind of just heading up now, cleaning up the trainers up there just to see what's going on. And Ginny has leveled up already, so it's time for her to evolve again. What's it going to be this time? Can see it already. And so of course a Tyrogue evolves into a Whismur. Now, for all of you avid Pokemon fans out there, you'll know exactly what this means. And it means that it will evolve again. Ginny will evolve one more time, at least. And Whismur's got a fairly easy experience track, so it should be quite soon. Not that episode, or not that battle, sorry, with the Doctor. Got another Dr. Alex here. And yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I got into a bit of bother with lack of PP. Of course, I didn't realize that I'd be editing all the Pokemon Center trips out and things like that, so I was trying to make it fairly... These are my excuses, at least. I was trying to make it fairly continuous, so I didn't want to keep going back to the Pokemon Center every time Squishy ran out of PP for a move. Though I may have to in the future, and just edit those out, and know that I'm going to edit them out. But you guys don't need to know that. But yeah, Squish is hidden really hard here, as we knew she would. Doing some work. This Drizzle Quagsire would be quite interesting. I quite like Quagsire as a Pokemon. It's goofy looking, supposed to be quite stupid. So Quagsire with Drizzle is it's kind of tempting. I'd like to find one if I could, but as we all know, that might be harder said than done. Or easier said than done, rather. Harder said than done. Just to prove that I haven't written a script. So, Ginny evolving once more from the Whismur. And that's her final evolution, because she's now become a Slowking. Now, that's fine. Slowking's quite a powerful Pokemon. Take a look at her stats. Oh dear. Look at that speed stat. Everything else is very good. That speed stat is so bad. Like that is a little sad as we fly on our Wigglytuff back to Fuchsia City to heal up a little bit. But yeah, I was a little upset by that. The lack of speed, because it just means that everything, it's like a repeat of having Krusty. Everything is going to hit Ginny first. Clearly after, as you can see rather, after Ginny evolved, I switched the experience share over to Barbara, our flying Wigglytuff. I think I said something like I want everyone about level 30 by the time I go and challenge Koga. And with Snake Eyes in play, then that's kind of even more important for me, I think, to have everyone be useful, because if I lose Squishy, knock on wood, but if I lose Squishy, then I could be in a lot of trouble here. Or even if it's something like a dark type gym, or a bug type gym wouldn't be too bad, but a dark type gym or a ghost type gym, Squishy could really struggle, considering that half of her moveset doesn't affect ghost type Pokemon. And there is the added bonus that we still haven't drawn, I don't believe, a card for Koga's gym. So we've got to do that when we walk in straight away as well. So we could have the ever-feared Waterfall Snake Eyes combo, which, you know, would be really, really hard to get past. In fact, I believe Snake Eyes is probably the only way you can lose this game. I mean, Nuzlocke, you can, obviously all your Pokemon can die, but in this Kingslocke, I believe the only way you can lose this game is to have all your Pokemon frozen out from use. So we're in a pretty dangerous part here, because we're underleveled, we have a restriction on what type of Pokemon we can use, and we're coming up to a gym with Snake Eyes in play. So, I mean, I'm a little worried about that. It should be fine, right? It should be fine. That is one cool thing about Jenny. Even though she's the slowest thing I've ever seen, well, the slowest thing since Krusty that we've had in our party. And to be fair, speed wouldn't have helped again with that extreme speed. But it does have... Aero Blast is just a really cool move. I never really used it. I mean, the only thing that has it is Lugia, so it's not something that I've ever used in battle or had access to in battle quite a lot. So that's quite cool. I've always thought of it as quite a cool move. So I'm happy to have that. Here I was a bit worried about having Jenny out against an Execute, not really knowing what to switch in. I probably could have switched in just about anyone, if I'm honest. I mean, we know Execute. We know Execute's not a big deal, but I was freaking out a bit at the time. I was a bit worried. I don't know why I was a bit worried that it might have a strong grass attack. It's the Snake Eyes. It's gotten in my head. I mean, with a Nuzlocke, you kind of just know it's there, and you know it's going the whole time. But this, the Snake Eyes has got me thinking about it now. I've gone from not worrying about Pokemon fainting, and even making a joke about Kylie being useless and fainting all the time, to now, if Kylie faints one more time, she's frozen in stone. Which, I mean, would be less than ideal, right? Of course, on the back of that, fly back to the Pokemon Center, and then teleport over to that patch of grass again. I figured these trainers were less dangerous than the trainers on the other side. Although this Cacturn is worrying with its Thief and its Earthquake and Confuse Ray. Oh look, I decided to play a flute. I wonder what song this is going to play.
I'm confused.
I think I'd be more confused hearing that song. Right, come on, Squish. Good work. Doing a job here. Squish level 36. Now, I could look it up. I could see if that was over-leveled or not. I don't think it is from memory. But there we go. Heading back east. Taking on these trainers where Sacred Fire is basically the only thing Squishy needs to use. Haha. Of course Mantine then comes up. Just to prove me wrong. I have played through this game. I have, this specific game that's right in front of us. I've actually played exactly this. That was me playing. I probably should remember that the Mantine was there. Oh well. Just proof that I haven't scripted my my commentary here. Go in the process somewhere along the line I switched the experience share over to Wilma, just to kind of keep Wilma and Barbara in touch with one another in terms of levels. I figured that would be the best thing to do, or the easiest thing to do, because, I mean, God forbid someone else dies, then it would be helpful if they were both semi-useful rather than just having one at level 30 if it's a bad type matchup. Of course, that was the Protect Safeguard trainer from last episode. Easily dealt with there by Squish. Now we're up here, challenging these cyclists. Not cyclists, they're nurses, aren't they? What do we got here? Figured Squishy's high level enough. We don't really need that. Ginny should be able to, I mean, as a fully evolved Pokemon with some very good moves, Ginny should be able to hold her own up here. I mean, there we go. Signal Beam did next to nothing. It wasn't coming off a particularly high stat or anything, but next to nothing. And I mean, Ginny's HP is quite good too, so shouldn't have too much trouble up here. Oh look, Jenny, another Jenny. Now what should I use? Of course it used Horn Drill, and of course it hit first time, and of course Jenny has fainted. Of course. And now I'm terrified who to use next, and I figured that I'd just go for something that I think would kill it. And would be faster than it. So Squish did a job. But we're in trouble. We're in trouble. One of our highest level Pokemon has just fainted. And that means a trip back to the Pokemon Center. Not for healing. Well, apparently for healing first. But then to the PC. Gotta chuck her away. And look, the Petrify box. It's gonna be long. Boo. There we go, box 1, that's better. Now, who do we have left to replace Ginny? Now, we've got, of course, our Shiftry Artemis. We've got a Nincada. We know what Nincada evolves into. We've got Wormer, who we caught in the Safari Zone. I decided to go with Artemis. I mean, we know what Nincada evolves into. Wormer is quite a high level, but Artemis is the highest level. It's got some good moves, as you can see there, and so wouldn't require too much training to get up to kind of the party's level, or the ideal level for the party. It's already above a whole lot of party members. But yeah, with that loss, I was kind of a little dispirited, as I hope you were too. I mean, the slightly more abridged episode, I'm not sure, lends itself to feeling that loss, the weight of loss. But I was kind of at a loss for what to do, so I decided that would be the end of the episode, and that will be the end of my commentary. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back to in-game commentary next episode. In the meantime, please subscribe, please like. Thank you for watching. I hope you hear from me soon.